The biggest challenge in trading isn't the market, it's you. Every chart, every candle, every tick is just a mirror of your mind. In this video, we're not talking about indicators or secret systems. We're talking about mastery, the kind that happens inside. How to think like a professional trader, how to accept uncertainty, and how to finally control what truly matters, yourself. Because once you master your mind, the market follows. Subscribe for weekly deep dives on trading psychology, mental performance, and behavioral finance. Remember, mastery isn't about predicting the market. It's about mastering yourself. Every trader dreams of mastery. Not mastery of markets, but mastery of the mind. Because once you truly understand yourself, the market stops being an enemy. It becomes a mirror. To trade like a professional, you don't need more indicators, more data, or secret algorithms. You need a deeper awareness of how you think, how you feel, and how you react to uncertainty. In this talk, we'll explore the psychology of trading through 4 ascending layers of understanding. First, the 5 fundamental truths of markets. Then, how to think probabilistically. How to build discipline and habits that hold under pressure. And finally, how to transcend ego, the ultimate barrier between you and consistency. If you've followed our earlier sessions, the nature of markets and the mindset of a successful trader, you already know that trading is not a game of prediction, but of probabilities. So here, we'll go further, from theory to integration, from knowledge to embodiment. Part 1. The 5 Truths of Trading. Let's start with what Mark Douglas called the 5 fundamental truths. They are the foundation of every professional trading mindset. Anything can happen. You don't need to know what will happen next to make money. There's a random distribution of wins and losses across any edge. An edge is just a probability advantage, not a guarantee. Every moment in the market is unique. If these sound familiar, it's because we've touched on them before, in the nature of markets. But now, instead of just reciting them, I want you to internalize them. When you fully accept these 5 truths, something remarkable happens. Your emotional resistance begins to fade. You stop expecting certainty. You stop needing the market to behave the way you want. The amateur asks, will this trade work? The professional asks, what's the probability this trade aligns with my edge? Understanding these truths intellectually is easy. Living them emotionally takes time. The human brain was built for survival, not speculation. It wants cause and effect, not randomness. But markets are chaotic systems of human behavior, alive, unpredictable, and indifferent. Part 2. Thinking in Probabilities. We covered probability thinking in depth earlier, so here we'll connect it to decision quality. Every trade is just one sample in a long series. You can make a perfect decision and still lose. You can make a reckless one and still win. The outcome doesn't determine the quality of your decision. The process does. That's how professional traders evaluate themselves. They ask, did I follow my process? Was my risk appropriate? Did I stay emotionally stable? When you think probabilistically, you detach your self-worth from outcomes. That's the foundation of emotional freedom. Remember this, certainty is the enemy of growth. Probability thinking keeps you humble, flexible, and curious. If you need to revisit the practical framework for probability mindset, like journaling trades, assigning outcome probabilities, or reviewing decision quality, see our earlier episode, The Nature of Markets, Why Think Probabilistically. For now, let's move to the next tier, discipline. Part 3. Building discipline that lasts. Every trader talks about discipline. Few understand how it truly works. Discipline isn't about willpower. Willpower is fragile. It collapses under stress. Discipline is about structure. Professionals design systems that make good behavior automatic. They remove decisions from moments of emotion. Before each session, they know exactly what setups they'll take, how much they'll risk, where they'll exit if wrong. No last-minute improvisation. No gut feelings driven by fear or greed. This is called environmental discipline, building a framework that protects you from yourself. Behavioral scientists like B.J. Fogg call it behavior design. You make the right choice easy and the wrong choice hard. In practice, that might mean using hard stops, limiting screen time, or automating certain trades to remove the temptation to interfere. True discipline is silent and boring. It's not about hype, it's about habit. But how do you form habits strong enough to survive volatility? Part 4. The neuroscience of habit. The brain changes through repetition. Each repeated behavior strengthens neural connections, a process called myelination. That's how skills become automatic. But trading gives inconsistent feedback. Sometimes you break a rule and still make money. Sometimes you follow your plan and lose. This confusion makes it hard to form stable habits. The solution is to reward process, not results. Every time you execute perfectly, regardless of outcome, give yourself positive reinforcement. You're training your brain to crave discipline, not dopamine spikes from random wins. Small routines make a huge difference. A morning review to set intent. A pre-trade checklist to confirm logic and risk. A post-trade reflection to record behavior. These rituals turn discipline into rhythm. Over time, that rhythm becomes your edge. As James Clear wrote in Atomic Habits, "You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems." Trading is no different. Part 5. Emotional regulation. Calm under pressure. Markets will always test your emotions. Fear and greed are not flaws, they're features of human biology. But you can learn to regulate them. In The Mindset of a Successful Trader, we explored fear of loss, fear of being wrong, and fear of missing out. If you want to revisit those roots, check that section. Here, let's focus on calmness as a skill. Modern neuroscience shows that emotional regulation is not suppression, it's awareness. Techniques such as deep breathing to activate the vagus nerve, slowing your stress response. Emotion labeling, which engages the rational brain. Mindful observation, where you witness feelings without reacting to them. When you observe emotion instead of obeying it, you regain control. Over time, calmness becomes your default. You stop swinging between euphoria and panic. You trade from a steady baseline of focus. Part 6. The Ego and the Trader. Now, we reach the silent saboteur, the ego. Ego in trading isn't just arrogance, it's identification, the attachment of self-worth to outcomes. It whispers, "I need to be right." It hates uncertainty, and it fights every loss like a personal insult. The ego is what causes revenge trades, oversized positions, and refusal to admit mistakes. To transcend it, you must shift identity, from being a trader who needs to win to being a risk manager who executes systems. Mark Douglas wrote, "The market doesn't know you exist." That's not cynicism, it's liberation. The market is neutral. You give it meaning through your ego. When you drop the need to be right, you gain the freedom to learn. You stop taking outcomes personally and start seeing them as data. That's when trading becomes peaceful. Humility is your ultimate edge.
Part 7. Examples from the Masters.
Let's ground these ideas in reality. Paul Tudor Jones, one of history's great traders, famously said, "The most important rule of trading is to play great defense, not great offense." He wasn't obsessed with predictions. He was obsessed with protection. He accepted that being wrong was normal, but being reckless was not. He placed stops immediately after entry and treated every trade as if it could fail. That mindset kept him alive through multiple market cycles. Jesse Livermore, the legendary speculator from the early 1900s, made and lost fortunes several times. His wins came from discipline, his collapses from ego. He once said, "After spending many years in Wall Street, and after making and losing millions of dollars, I want to tell you this. It was never my thinking that made the big money. It was always my sitting." In other words, patience, the calm acceptance of uncertainty, made him rich. Impulse destroyed him. These stories are reminders. The battle isn't on the chart, it's in the mind. Part 8. The 3 stages of mental evolution. Every trader evolves through 3 mental levels. Level 1. The reactive trader. This is the beginner, driven by emotion, seeking certainty, chasing outcomes. Trading feels exciting but chaotic. Level 2. The rule-based trader. Here discipline forms. Systems exist. Emotions still arise, but there's structure. This is where most competent traders stay. Level 3. The self-mastered trader. At this level, emotion and logic coexist in balance. The trader is calm, detached, and focused purely on process. Wins and losses are data points. The goal isn't perfection. It's progress along these levels. Awareness moves you upward. Part 9. Daily training for mind mastery. To reach self-mastery, you need consistent mental training, just like athletes train their bodies. Here's a framework you can apply daily. The morning reset. 5 minutes of breathing and mental rehearsal. Remind yourself, anything can happen. I accept the risk. I follow my plan. Pre-trade routine. Review your checklist. Confirm setups, define risk, visualize patience. Execution window. Focus only on what's in front of you. No news, no distractions. Post-trade reflection. Record what you did right, what triggered emotion, and how you responded. Weekly review. Grade yourself on behavior, not profit. Celebrate adherence to process. This creates a closed feedback loop, a structure for continuous psychological evolution. Remember, as we discussed earlier in The Mindset of a Successful Trader, every trade is an emotional rep. Each one trains your nervous system to tolerate uncertainty. The goal is not zero emotion, but balanced emotion. Awareness without reaction.
Part 10. The flow state. At the peak of mastery, trading becomes effortless. Not because it's easy, but because resistance disappears. Psychologists call this flow, a mental state where challenge and skill align perfectly. In flow, self-consciousness fades, time compresses, execution becomes natural. You reach flow through preparation, not passion, routine, not randomness. When your process is internalized, your brain can operate intuitively, combining pattern recognition and logic in real time. That's why experienced traders seem to feel the market. It's not mysticism, it's neural efficiency born of repetition and emotional balance. Flow is the state where your mind and the market
Move as one. Part 11. The Paradox of Control. Every trader tries to control the market, and every trader eventually learns the same truth. The more you try to control it, the more it controls you. Control is an illusion, but influence is real, and the only thing you can influence is yourself. You control your preparation, your size, your stop, your state. Everything else is randomness. Freedom in trading doesn't come from conquering the market. It comes from surrender, from complete acceptance that uncertainty is permanent. Paradoxically, the moment you let go of control, you gain true mastery, because now nothing can shake you. Part 12. The Trader's Creed. Let's summarize this mindset into a creed, a set of principles to carry with you. I accept that anything can happen. I don't need to know what will happen next to succeed. I focus on probabilities, not predictions. My edge works over time, not every time. I manage risk with discipline. I reward process, not outcome. I let go of ego and stay humble. I see losses as data, not defeat. I control myself, not the market. Repeat these daily until they're not just beliefs, but reflexes.
Part 13. The Final Shift. When you internalize all of this, trading stops being about money. It becomes a mirror for self-growth. Every chart, every decision, every emotional reaction reveals something about you, your patience, your fears, your ego. You start to see that the market doesn't punish or reward, it reflects. It shows you where you still resist truth. Mastering your mind doesn't mean becoming emotionless. It means becoming unshakable, calm in chaos, clear in noise, detached but deeply focused. That's how professionals think. They don't try to predict the next tick. They manage probabilities, manage risk, and manage themselves. And that's why they succeed. Not every day, but over time, inevitably. Trading mastery is self-mastery. The charts are your teachers. Risk is your curriculum. The goal isn't to win every trade. The goal is to evolve, to become the kind of person who can thrive in uncertainty with grace and clarity. Because once you master your mind, the market no longer decides your fate. You do.